It's Thursday night. We're back. It's Reverse Polarity, the best Thursday of the week. It's the best Thursday every week. You know what I mean?
It is, yes, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'm your boy Hi-Fi Vega. This guy's Dean. Has a small YouTube channel. They do car stereo stuff. And, yeah.
You know, in hindsight, with the amount of energy we put into this, should have put it into something else.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, it's like, just watch that guy, like, play with his hair and, 1 million subscribers. Oh,
dude, when you think about it, like if you seriously just step back and think about it, the biggest crowd of YouTuber out of all the crowd of YouTubers is Mead, and he still is not even over 1 million subs.
Right.
And like if you compare it to just like an average thing, like even a car YouTube channel, that's super small. It's insane. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, definitely a story of my life. I always go for the smallest demographic possible.
Right.
But hey, enough of that. How are you, sir?
Doing good. What about you?
You know, just glad to be awake at this point. Not really.
Dude, I don't know why. I'm tired today. I'm tired. I don't know what's going on. So, I seen the Porsche video. How are you fitting all those amps in that trunk or whatever it is? It's like there's no way.
Here's
what was the thought? Once you do your anecdote, walk me through the thought process whenever you first were like, all right, we're gonna do this.
All right, so there's another one tomorrow. Let's just start with this. So there's this week you guys got 3. So shut the fuck up. That's all I gotta say for that. Just fucking fuck off. So, but you know, that's all I've been doing this week is editing Porsche videos. So I don't know what comes out next and what you haven't seen, because it's all just there.
One blur, yeah.
So there's one tomorrow, which is it's not the last one. I think there's one more in the series. I think there's the finish. But okay, so here's the long and short of it, as they say. He originally wanted the bigger Brax amplifiers. Brax makes one amplifier up from this one, which is just, they were like 60 pounds. They're like landmines. I mean, these things are freaking huge. And we're like, they're not going to fit. It's just like they'll know. They won't know.
Right.
I'm going, they're not going to fit. They'll fit. They won't fit. They're not going to fit. So I had Fernando. We had some foam, some white foam. I said, all right, do me a favor. Go cut this foam into the size of the amplifier.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had the height. So we basically made this amplifier out of foam. And I walked it out to the back of his car, and I handed it to him, and I go, go. And I mean, he's like, square peg, round hole in the shit out of this thing. And he goes, they're not going to fit. And I go, no way. That's insanity, friend.
Crazy. I can't believe. Who would have thought it?
Yeah. So we settled on those amplifiers, to which I've never used before, never seen, nothing. So, you know, we kind of didn't know what we were getting into, like with the whole mount upset wire on the bottom side of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever want to do another set of those again, because that sucked.
Dude, and I was like, so we haven't seen to that part yet. We've only seen you like getting the bass part up, and you could tell you already know how the wire's got to go. There's no way it's a typical 5-star situation with the way the amps are sitting in there.
Oh, it is. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. You'll see tomorrow. All right. No,
I expect to see every bit of that wire.
Oh, you'll see every bit of that wire, and you'll see something. You'll just go,
yeah. Like what? No. Like what if that battery goes bad? Like how easy is it going to be to take that out to like swap it? That was another question I had.
It's 100% serviceable.
Yeah, I looked like it was, but
there again, it's 100% serviceable. However, it is not anything you're going to do fast. Okay, so there is A to B, B to C, C to D steps that you have to take in order to get all that stuff out of there. So
Yeah, there was there was like a building block situation going on.
Yeah. Oh no, it's 100%. What's happening,
Mr.
What's up,
Scott, look at that photo too, man.
I know, that's a good photo. It was a good time. He had his bodyguard with him. It was pretty cool.
He had a bodyguard with him.
Oh yeah, she was all set and ready to kick ass. I was like, you can deal with Fernando. But no, it's it was challenging for sure. I mean, you know, the original plan was to stack all of them on top of one another like you would do in any situation. So what we thought we were going to do is just put one on top of the next, and pop the next, put the one with the lights on top, DSP off to the side, you know, bring the wires out. Super easy. Like, it was like, this is going to be a piece of cake, man. No problem.
Right.
You know, put the amps off on the passenger side. The driver's side that is more indented would be where the DSP was. I'm like, this would be a breeze. This would be a breeze. And then, you know, we started looking at the amplifiers, and then we started seeing how, like, they're made and how they come apart. And it was just like, well, it's like everything else we've done in this car, it sucks.
Well, and the DSP is pretty big by itself, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge.
It looked huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, which it has to be for $5-6 grand or $6,500 or whatever it was.
Right.
You know,
and you said they custom make those?
Yeah, they make them one at a time.
Wow,
that's cool.
So
what happens, according to legend, I don't know, all the parts that come into the place. Okay, so there's really no difference fundamentally between that DSP and their other DSP. However, what happens is all the parts come in, and the parts get sorted by quality, you know, all that.
Yeah, like batch sorting
and stuff like that. So all of the plus whatever chips go off to build those. And then everything else, all the table scraps go off to everything else. So everything that is in that is a hand-picked, as close to match chip as your part as you can get. So they're really particular about everything that they do in that, and they let you know that. And it's funny too, because everything that is Brax comes in a wood box.
I like that.
So even if you needed to pull part of the, you know, like pull one of those out and put a new one in, it comes in this little tiny wood box. Pull it out.
Oh, like, so even like the tiniest pieces, not just
tiniest pieces, all come in little wood boxes. It's really cute. I think the funniest thing that everyone thought was funny is when we were talking about the C1, the sub amp, is, you know, when I said he had to settle for the C1, you know, and it's like, what is that? That's like it's like 12 or between 12 and $1,600, something like that.
It's a very expensive amp, yes.
More, and you know, and it's like, I mean, but the truth was that was the truth. He actually wanted three of those amplifiers.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't get the ohm load to work with the Morel subs that we did. And they don't really offer a sub. So it was like,
oh, wait up. I haven't seen the Morel subs yet.
Yeah, they're not there. You haven't seen them yet. Those don't come in until the very end.
It's got to be the Ultimos.
No, yeah, it is. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally the Ultimos. But so what happened is we actually finished the car. We finished the car right before we went on vacation.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the box. The box was nowhere near done. He was taking forever on the box, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I kept sending it back. Fix this. Yeah. And we were using somebody new. I was just trying out to see, like, you know, so
like what they could do. Right.
Yeah. So it kept going back, and we were done with the car, and it was like, all right, I don't want this car here while we're on vacation. So we actually just threw a Comp 212 box in the back. Comp R212 box.
That's pretty funny.
We needed a sub box, and it was like we had that when we walked into the showroom. That was the first box right there, and I said, all right, grab that, put it in. There you go. So he rocked that for like 2 weeks, which was great because, you know, he went off for 2 weeks and just had a great time with the car. And then he came back in, and we were able to finish the video and the car, put the sub box in, and we actually we talked to him. So it's, you know, everyone always asks, hey, can you put the custom? It's like, no, but this time he's like, sure. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people don't. people don't get that most people don't want to be on video.
Oh, nobody wants to be on video. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, we're the only idiots who do it like willingly.
Yeah. I mean, most people think it's a cool idea. So you have two types of people. You have people that are like, I do it because I don't care, and it's like, it kind of shows in the video. It's kind of like, it wasn't. Yeah, you're not that good, but but yeah. So, but no, he loves it. He loves it. His wife was the funny story was his wife called Paul about something, and he's like, yeah, I couldn't find him the other night. He was sitting in the garage in the dark playing a stereo. I was like, oh, okay. But like everything about that, every single thing about that install was a kick in the balls. Like literally every single thing. It was like there wasn't every single speaker had to have a custom bracket.
Yeah.
Every like the tweeters were like, holy crap, that was one of the that took hours trying to figure out how to get and keep in mind it's constantly like burning, laser this, build that, burn laser, it was like
you're like prototyping everything to get it.
Oh yeah, dude. And it was just like, like holy crap.
Is that a hybrid or is it a full electric?
It's a hybrid. That big silver thing in the back is the battery.
Okay.
But there's a full motor and a regular battery up in the front of the car.
And a regular alternator.
Alternator. So it only gets like 35 miles.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to mess with like in a Prius.
Prius has a battery.
Yeah, and they have a stupid inverter too, though. It's like running a big system would be.
Yeah, but they still have it. Dude, we've put 5,000 watt amps in Priuses.
Really?
Much to my chagrin. Like I didn't want to. I was like, no, this is dumb.
Right.
It's what the customer wants. Stupid. Yeah. And you can guess what brand it was. Army. Anyways, it might have been a 2000, either a 2500. I don't know. It was too much for that, and it's just dumb. But but no, it has a regular battery, so it's basically, and that was funny too. Oh my god. Oh, so here's the best part. So car's doing good. We got it. We're tuning it. Jeff helped us tune it, which you'll see in the next video. Because he you'll learn more about it. Anyways, so Saturday, Fernando was off and was pulling in the bay. Okay, Christian. I gave him so much shit the other day. He was up. I was having so much fun with him. Oh, it was great. So Saturday morning, I go to pull it out. And it's got 4 cameras, front camera, sides, top down, the whole shebang. And it's like we've been having fun with this car, and the only camera that comes on was the driver's door. Everything else was off, and I was like, "Huh? Well, that's different. What the hell's wrong with this thing?" So, Monday Fernando gets in, and I was coming over, and he had pulled it out, and he comes. He's paranoid. He's like white as a ghost, and he's like, "Dude, what the hell?" And I go, "Oh, you mean the cameras?" And he's like, "Yeah, what the hell's going on with that thing?" Like, well, I don't know. I started doing it Saturday, and I'm like, I got no idea. Well, as it turns out, when he dropped the car off with us, he left it in hybrid mode. And we never really drove it anywhere. So the motor never turned on. And it's only good for 35 miles. Yeah. And like when we were tuning it, we were playing it for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Man, but that 6 hours of playtime, battery didn't like that. So the hybrid battery was dead.
Oh,
so
dude.
We figured out how to go into the radio and switch it over to regular mode, and the car started right up, and everything went boop, back on, and I was like,
let it run for a minute.
Yeah, I was like, son of a bitch. But I mean, I knew it had to be something stupid like that. That's one of those things where it's just, it's just one of those stupid things that the car manufacturer doesn't know is a thing,
right?
And is never done what we did. Find
like what idiot would do this? Like what?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I was like, I told a friend, I was like, dude, it's got to be like a freaking Honda. Honda is just like, oh god,
Dude, I bet it is scary though. Like working, like that's not a cheap car. Like, and it's like anything can happen.
So even with the Accord, like we just did one the beginning of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you know, it's like we got to pull the ground off because we're putting a 0 gauge ground in. Fernando's going to disconnect the battery but we know because we've already had a heart attack and shit our pants. So, but you're still like, you know, when you start up the car that first time and it's just rolling, you know, every check engine light in the world, because for some reason, some engineer at Honda thought that'd be cool if you change the battery, that you need to reset every single computer in the car. Like, really? How fucking stupid is that? So, you know, so you take it out for a drive and you go around the building, but you know, while you're sitting there, you're like this.
Yeah.
You know,
unless you don't know what it's doing and you're like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, you're just waiting for it to so yeah, it can be nerve-wracking.
Well, the first time definitely would not be fun.
Oh no, that first time was a total nightmare. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. That was when we were filming either Installer of the Year or Trusted Tech. Guy had to drive back home to North Carolina the next day.
Oh God.
You know, it was like I think it was coming like on a Saturday morning, so it was like, oh, we're gonna have to get this guy another hotel, or a bus home, or you know, holy shit, you know. It was just one of those things where it's like nothing was working. It was like, okay, there has to be a sequencing issue here that we are totally missing. And it was like, all right, disconnect the battery, let the car sit, reconnect the battery, all the warnings pop up, take the car for a ride, bingo, that was it. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Volkswagen does that too a lot of the times, and it's really annoying.
And most of the time you're working on stuff that's so new that there's not like a forum post. If you're working on something 5 or 6 years old, someone's probably had this problem, and you could Google it and you maybe will find something, but
yeah. You know, and Porsches suck in general because like in the Cayenne, the battery's underneath the seat. Okay. And the only way to get the seat out is to disconnect the airbag. Okay. But the only way to not trip the airbag is to disconnect the battery.
Chicken and egg problem. Nice.
Yeah, you're like, what the? I mean, how really? How do you
hold your nose? Do 3 spins. Squat this way.
Stupid.
Dude, I put us a poll up. I put us an in-chat poll.
Oh, thank God.
So let's just. This is something I'm curious about. What did they think? What is the most important factor in your car audio purchases? I just put 3 things: price, performance, or quality. And we are leading. This is kind of a trick question because it really needs to be all 3, or at least 2 of them. But we're 45% quality, 43% performance, and 12% price.
Which, you know, it's funny because I think they're saying that.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, price is like, price is reality, guys. I mean, come on, everyone's got a price. I read the forums, I see the conversations. You know, you're talking about there is no such thing as price being low and quality being high. It doesn't happen. We get nothing in this world for free.
That's why I picked 3 things. Hoffman's Iron Law. That's why I only pick 3 things. You get 2 of them. You don't get all 3.
Yeah. So, you know, if you want quality, then you're going to pay the price. That's it. There's value. Like you can find something that has value, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be quality, because I mean, you know, the McDonald's 49-cent cheeseburger was a great value, but you had no quality. So price is king. Price is king. Price is number 1. Let's be honest.
Right.
You know, you have to. All builds are budget builds. Budgets are just different. You know, and he's right. So one time I was in the wood store, the one that sells all the expensive woodworking tools. I can't remember the name of it. We had one here, and I go in there and I was looking for something strange that, you know, I knew they would have because they have all these, you know, woodworking tools.
Yeah.
And I hear this old guy up there, and he's like, well, you got to give me a deal because, I'm old and I'm on a fixed income.
Right.
And I'm like, and I thought about it for a minute because I was like, if anybody ever said that to me, I just kind of roll my eyes at them. But then I thought about it hard and I was like, dude, everybody is on a fixed income. We are all on a fixed income. It's not like there's extra money coming in at me because I'm like employed. It's like,
you have to make something. If you have extra money coming in, you did something to affect that in some way to make it happen.
And it's like, it's like I'm gonna make the same this week as I made last week, and I'll make the same next week. It's unless I go Woodcrafters. Thank you.
Love you got them all guessing.
Woodcrafters, right? I mean, come on, who doesn't love hanging out in that place and just going, oh, if I had money, I'd buy that. I never use that, but I want it. I don't even know what that's for.
I'm gonna build an enclosure out of walnut. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna build some pens. I need a micro lathe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're all on a fixed income of some sense. The difference is how big is your fixed income? I think that is more what you should say. It's like, my fixed income is better than your fixed income.
Right.
Just saying. But we all have like this much money to spend. So, the doctor has a better fixed income than me, the car stereo guy. I want his fixed income.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Definitely not budget friendly. But I mean, I feel like a car stereo shop isn't always budget friendly either. Unless you're buying speakers by the pound. In which case you can get a lot of $35 speakers.
Well, and if you're looking for a budget, and you really want something cheap, you're probably looking to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then it's gonna, you're not getting Macintosh. They don't even do car audio anymore, do they?
No, God, thank God. They sucked at it. They were horrible. But we were the largest dealer in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those of you guys that go, what does that mean? There's 4 regions in the country that dictate sales for the United States. 4 states, I should say. And they're all in their own regions. New York, Florida, Texas, and California. Every other state doesn't really matter.
It's all the same states that decide our elections as well.
Yes, but those are the 4 states that do the most business in the United States. Everybody else is just kind of like table scraps. I know that sucks, and I apologize if you don't live in one of those 4 states, but that's the reality of it. That's where all the people live, so that's where they get to make all the decisions. But we were the largest Macintosh dealer in the state. When Macintosh came out back in whatever that was, 88, 89, we were selling the MC420 for like $850. That was a 4x50 watt amplifier for $850.89.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably like $2,500 or something today.
Yes. Yes. It had a solid glass panel on it. So fast forward 5 years later, because Clarion owned them at the time, they go in and they're like, you guys are devalued this product drastically. Like you're not making any money on this. And then overnight they doubled the price. That amp went from that price to like $2,200. And it was like, hold on, let me hold the nail. That's the last nail for the coffin. Yep. Bam. Because at the same time, that was right when touchscreens were coming out. Alpine had the CVN1000, Clarion had all of theirs. And it was like, and Kenwood was starting to ship theirs. So it was like, if I'm going to spend $1,800 on something, I'm not spending it on a 50 watt by 4 amplifier. I'm spending it on a screen in my dash so that I can watch porn while I'm driving down the road.
Yeah.
Or TV or kids movies. I'm sorry. Kids movies. So that's how that went. But that was the end of Macintosh.
And it was like Brax, like just the experience of opening it.
Yeah.
And having the nice, heavy, thick page manual that you can read through and just feeling all the feels inside the box.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Oh, for sure. Well, the thing that makes Brax successful is Helix.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, and that's the same thing with like Audison and their Voce stuff. Not Voce, the other one, the more expensive.
Thesis.
Mm-hmm. It's like, we don't have to sell a ton of this gear because this other stuff is what's making us money.
Right.
You know, and by the time Macintosh figured that out, it was too late. You know,
Yeah.
they
It's
came
like
out with
Halo
some,
products, like or
yes,
aspirational products,
yeah,
as it were.
yeah, because they came out with some cheaper stuff, but by then it was like too little, too late. I mean, even still, they had like a 2x30, a 2x50, and something else, and even those were just like,
Yeah.
nah.
They had the
Yeah,
big 6-channel that I always wanted one, never got one.
I know, I know. I had the smaller 6-channel, but it never
Yeah.
went in my car, and I sold it because I needed the money. I
Yeah.
had the radio in my car, so I bought the radio, the speakers, the 6-channel, and the
Yeah.
subwoofers. And the only thing I managed to get in was the radio. And then I wrecked my car, and I needed money to buy. It was a brand new car. I wrecked it. Needed money to get it fixed, and then I immediately traded it in on a Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, damn, I really wanted these, but see ya. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of sad. And then the Ram got all Kenwood shit stuff because Kenwood has like the best employee purchase program ever. So, but you have to buy everything. So
Oh, so you're
you
not
have
just running one or the other.
no. You have to buy
Yeah.
all the speakers, all the amps, all the subs,
Yeah.
radio, and navigation system. So you had to
Wow.
buy the whole thing. And I was like, how much? I was like,
Got him. Yeah.
you got it, baby.
I'm in.
Yeah, I
But
think I
that's
bought a
smart,
navigation system for like $200, which back
dude.
then it was like $1,200.
That's
So
smart because, like, when someone, especially when car audio shops are in their prime, they're in the 80s and 90s. That's you wanted to listen to the people's stereos that
oh
weren't
yeah.
there, and it was just a good way to show off. Like, hey, check this out.
Not only that, I mean, like, dude, the excellent amplifiers back then were these giant amplifiers with these mechanical doors that open and closed.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, and they were huge. And I was
Yeah,
like, I want 3 of those.
yeah,
And
they're
like, what are you gonna
dope.
do with it? I don't know, but just give me the 4-channel and
Just
2 mono blocks, man.
yeah,
Dude, I went so excessive on that because it was just like, why not? I mean,
yeah,
it was basically they were just handing you shit for nothing. You
yeah,
know, the only thing was when you got done, you had to like take pictures and submit them. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. Come by
yeah,
and hear
yeah.
it.
Jam it,
Yeah.
dude.
So
I like just let's sidejack for a second. The Kenwood amps that I like the most
yeah,
were the old Performance series,
which
plain
ones were
Jane
those?
looking. They
Black.
were just nope. They were silver heatsink
Oh, really
PS.
old.
It was
Was
the
it?
Kenwood
Oh,
PS.
PS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Performance
They
series.
like had they were
They're
big,
big.
big,
They were
flat. They look like
beastly.
grills.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the PS. Yeah, I
the
think these
PS.
replaced the PS.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that during that same time, they had the Kenwood HQ subwoofers. Super, super dope subwoofers with the gold cast basket.
Mm.
And they were like really legit nice sound quality subwoofers.
See,
Can't
mine
find them
were
nowadays.
purple and they said DB on them.
Oh, did you get DB or DB plus?
DB plus.
There you go. Yeah.
I still have one sitting in the attic.
Yeah. I kind of like those subs. I
Actually,
didn't
I
like
think
the
I
way they
still have one
looked,
sitting in the
but
garage in a box.
yeah.
I should check and see what size box that is because I need a 110 ported box. I don't want to buy one if I've already got one sitting in the garage. I'll have to check that out. Ooh, good point.
Yeah, there you go. Search through.
Well, because we have to next week we're putting the Morel system into Haley's car, so I'm really excited about doing that. It's like we've just been so busy, and it's like I just want to do this because I'm tired of looking at it. And
What's it? So what's the setup in there? Like
she's
what
getting a
amps?
set of the new Maximo Ultra HEs up front, which is just the Maximus,
Yeah.
and then the coaxials for the rear, a 10, and the 4-channel amplifier to power those.
Yeah. So the 10's powered then, I guess.
The 10 is just gonna. So she's got the Key 501 in there,
Oh,
and it's all the way in the back, and it's doing its thing. It's like there's no reason to screw with that.
Yeah.
So the 4-channel, we're just gonna pull out the Focal 4-channel and put the Morel in its place. So
yeah. Well,
cool.
and the truth of the matter is, that's the most important upgrade. Like I know everybody gives the subwoofer the most credit, and to some people it is, but to me, it's always the speakers.
Yeah.
And,
But yeah, so the funny part is that she's got the AB class Focal in there now.
Right.
And she's going to go to a higher end AB class Morel amplifier. And I just laugh because of all these guys that are just like, I got this badass class D amplifier. I got this badass class A amplifier. And here she's rolling out like, I got all that too. And doesn't even care. Doesn't even care. Like, zero shit.
Yeah, barely knows the difference.
Yeah.
Does it make noise? Oh, it makes my speakers work. Okay, good.
Yeah, like right now she's got a 212 Kenwood Excellent box in there.
Yeah.
And she goes to me, she's like, that's coming out, right? And I was like, yeah. She's, oh, thank God. She's like, I missed my trunk. I'm like, all right. Well, I mean, you like it. She's, yeah, it's great, but I'm done. Speaking of Haley, how's the Boring Life editing going? Their ship to Iowa was a while ago. You know, actually, I think I'll probably be editing that this weekend because they were gone and they're gone again this weekend. So I'm getting kind of tired of asking her to do it. So, like in typical dad fashion, I'm just gonna take the reins because she's fine. She just doesn't. She's afraid of that one.
Yeah,
it's so big. So I think I'm just gonna do it and get it out of the way because they'll be gone. I'll have some time. But no. So that was the deal this weekend. Is that Fernando and I went to Knowledge Fest and they went on the new Disney cruise ship, the Wish. So that was Sue's 50th birthday present. Was the two of them get to go.
Without you.
Without me. They had a good time.
That was the wish.
That was the wish. And it came true. Magic. So
definitely.
Yeah.
So I even had a topic for this week. Believe that.
Well, let's hit it, man.
What specs do you think actually matter in car audio? People really, really bug out over minute specs. The BL of a subwoofer, the or I'm trying to think of one, the dampening factor of a amplifier.
It's its ability to contain water, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Repel, right?
I thought it was just how much water could it handle before it blew up.
So what do you think? Is there any that just stand out to you that actually you think matter?
So on a day-to-day basis, the only one that I like give a shit about is I want to know the FS of my tweeter. Like I need to know that. Like I just need to know that. If you'll tell me that, like for one, it'll save me time. I don't have to go and do it myself.
Right.
But two, it's like, okay, give me that. I don't even look at power handling, to be honest with you. Like when someone hands me a speaker and an amp and all that, it's like there again, keep in mind it's a different world. You know, when you're talking about like a 3K amp, and you need to know what you're getting into on that one. But for the day-to-day stuff that we typically do, there's very little detail stuff like that we get caught up in. You know, it's like it's just like, I guess because we're exposed to it all the time.
Yeah,
it's like we just know. You know, it's
you have lived experience. Like you have you've had hands on and ears on on all these products. You know the difference just simply from using them.
You know, I think the thing that irritates me the most is when people go, how do I set? Where should I put my gain? How? Yeah, I was playing this one frequency on my factory radio, and just my gain. I think it's wrong. It is. It's totally wrong. It's you said it wrong. It's not by you. It's just it happens.
Right.
You know, it's just.
Well,
I have a DSP. How do I set my gain?
For the longest time, no one even thought about that, and then now they're thinking about it too much. Like we just went like from here. We went from 0 to 100. And it's like, oh man, like you overcorrected. Let's go back to the middle.
Yeah, dial it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the Honda we just did. Fernando goes, oh man, how are you going to get to the gains? Are you going to drop it back down? And I go, no, we have a DSP.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be plenty of signal going into these Alpines. We're not going to need to get to the gains, you know? And sure enough, we didn't need to get to those gains because those amps don't take voltage for shit, you know? So, you know, okay. So like when you look at subwoofers, there's a ton there that is, if you're a subwoofer guy You know, if you're like Drew, or you're a bass guy and you're going to build boxes, and you need, you know, all the teal small parameters, all that shit is super important for getting the right enclosure. I'm not that guy.
No,
I never was. I never sat there and was like, well, you know, looking at this right here, I bet you. So, you know, I've never cared. I would go to a guy like Drew and say, what do you think would be good for this? Okay, I'd just go build it.
Well, and that's what I was saying, like with Derek yesterday when we were talking about, people get very obsessed with the manufacturer's specs for their enclosures.
Oh yeah,
and it's just frustrating me. Like, if you've never modeled a subwoofer, the manufacturer is not giving you peak performance specs for a recommended subwoofer enclosure.
It's giving you middle of the road.
Yeah,
please don't blow this woofer, build this box, and it will make you happy and do what it needs to do. You know,
right?
And it will. I built plenty of manufactured spec woofer boxes. You know, because they usually give you the three: the loud and boomy, the musical, and the I don't have enough airspace.
Yeah,
you know, and they just kind of figure out which one works the best. And if you apply some common sense to it, you kind of look at it and go, wait a minute. Like, if you look at the bigger picture, so really, if I build the box a tad bit bigger than that one, and I cut a 1/2 inch off the port, because that's like, it'll probably sound fine.
Yeah.
Or if I make it like 1 inch longer because of what that's doing, I bet you it'll sound fine. You know, and then you build it and you're like, no, that didn't work. You go and you cut, oh, wait, that worked. You know, and so, you know, it's, you know, like I said, the guy that taught me, dude, he'd look at a woofer, look at the specs, not know shit, build this box and go, this will work. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd listen to it. I'd be like, okay, that worked. And I was like, well, how'd you figure that out? And you go, because, you know, I was expecting, well, you know, if you look at this, he goes, because I've built thousands of subwoofer enclosures with hundreds of woofers. I know how to build a box. And I'm like,
fair enough.
Okay, you win.
Fair enough.
It's like, I've been building, you know, when you're, so, and that's okay. I mean, that's one of those things I don't miss at all.
No. You know, what, like this, like I've just, from experience with kicker subwoofers, they're going to want you to build a 1.5 cubic foot tuned to like 35 hertz for a 12. I'm telling you right now, if you put it in like a 2 cube or bigger, it sounds way better. You get it plays lower. Just I know that they're really keen on running, not just them, like DC Auto does that. I think even Sundown kind of leans small enclosures.
Well, it's because that's the thing. Everybody wants a small enclosure.
Yeah.
You know, the only time recently that I was like, wow, was the Hertz Milli Pro sub. It was either Milli Pro or Milli Legend. I don't remember which one it was, but they're like, the guy's like, I want this woofer. And I was like, okay, ported box? He's like, no, sealed, small sealed, the small sealed box. I was like, seriously? And he's like, yeah. I said, okay, because like, we'll have to have it made. And he's like, yeah, but that's what I want. I said, oh, okay, you know. And I said, all right, well, when it sucks, we'll build you a nice ported box. He goes, nope, this thing's going to sound great. I'm like, have you heard it before? He's like, yeah. I said, oh, okay. So at least you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Fucking hey, man. Turn that bitch on. I was like, yep, this sounds great.
I'll tell you one that surprised me. Do you remember the kicker cube, the 8s in the middle housing?
Yeah.
Those sounded damn good. I
never heard them. I mean, I heard them in the wall, their mini wall that they built.
Right.
But
but you didn't hear them like I've heard like a single in a truck.
Right.
And now you're not expecting 212 bass, but for what it is and how small it is, it's pretty impressive.
Well, dude, like we had those Ground Zero pre-made enclosures that had the 6 and the 8 in it, and we gave the 8 away, but we kept the 6.
Yeah.
Dude, that 6 pounded.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big, for a 6, it was a big ported box. And I think we still have, do we? I think we have it somewhere. I think we have a 2.6 box from Scar.
Yeah.
That we acquired somehow. I don't know how. I think it just kind of got lost in the paperwork.
Yeah.
But, you know, and that sounded great. But, you know, and I've done 2.8s in a bandpass. Like in one of my cars, I had 2.8s in a bandpass just because it was like, I want to do small subs that sound big.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, next time let's just do big subs.
Yeah, if you got,
I don't have to work as hard.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun though. Sometimes it's fun to kind of surpass someone's expectations of what they're expecting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel you have to. It's just like you have to do that. Well, let me ask you, what are some of the numbers and letters and stuff like that you feel are important?
For me, since I do amp testing, I think that like a true number from a manufacturer is kind of important to me. Only because, not because I don't care if it makes extra power. I just want them to make the power it says. Because if it doesn't do that at their ratings, like what else do I got to question? It's just kind of like table stakes baseline things.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're high end. And I've had like the Zapcos, the high end Zapcos, and I've seen them consistently underperform. It's like just rate them differently. It doesn't have to be rated 150 watts by 4. It could be 100 watts by 4, and then now we're surpassing expectations, and people don't have to question like what else are you getting away with?
Yeah, I've never really, like, on the high end, the ultra high end amplifiers, I've never
Yeah,
really understood the wattage, like why we even care. I mean,
yeah,
I know why we have to put it on there because it's like we need to be able to give them some idea of how much power is
reference.
coming out of this amplifier so that you can team it up with the right speakers. But
Yeah,
I also look at it and go,
yeah, it
you know,
doesn't matter. That's the
no,
craziest part. It's
you
like
know,
you could rate this. You literally someone designed this amp, even if you didn't do it. Someone knows what this amp's done because they put it on a
right.
legit audio precision. So somebody somewhere knows exactly what this amp does, and
Yeah.
someone decided to lie about it at some point. And it's like, why?
Well, okay, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's lying, but we had
Yeah,
this thing in math where they did rounding.
yeah,
And so I think it has to do with rounding. I think a lot of the
yeah,
times it's just like, hey, it's 450. Yeah, it's close enough. It's 500.
yeah,
And it's like, no, it's closer to 4. Go the other way. Make it a 4-in-1 amp. But we
yeah.
already got the artwork done for the 500. All right, well then make it bigger.
Well, it's
You
like when
know,
when they had the Maybachs or whatever when they came out, and they had a horsepower rating of adequate.
yeah,
Uh, so that was our horsepower rating. They just told you like it'll do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
fast,
That's what you need to know. Like it,
faster than you should be driving.
right?
You know.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I look at too is I missed the 2 Orion XTR8s.
Oh,
Mine was that's what I had, 2 XTR8s and a bandpass.
I've had 2 XTR8s and a bandpass here, and they're super depressing.
I had mine in a custom bandpass that I built with a
You
Porsche
had yours in a
prop.
real bandpass,
I
not
had
a
mine in a
hundred
real bandpass.
a hundred
Yeah.
dollar one I bought off eBay, thinking it looked cool. Yeah.
See ya, El Fernandez. So another one that I look at just because lately it's been kind of important is speaker efficiency.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I want to know that just because, like, if I'm doing an active set, knowing the efficiency kind of helps me get an idea of like what these tweeters are going to do
Yeah.
compared to the mid range. The RTA will show it immediately, but
Yeah.
training your ears to be, oh, so that's what that sounds like. That's how efficient those are. Ooh, wow, man.
Yeah.
That that's coming in hot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I feel like, and there again, even with a subwoofer, if you get a subwoofer that's efficient, and you're like, I only got 500 watts to put on it, it's like, yeah, you'll be fine.
Well,
You'll be fine.
that makes me think of an amplifier efficiency is important too, because you can have a situation where you have a really good amp, kicker Q class, super inefficient. That's like that makes it hard to justify out doing a bigger system without upgrading your electrical.
So I feel like when so you use the kicker Q class, so we'll move forward with that.
Yeah.
That amplifier is what, 8 years old?
Yeah.
8 years old. And it was a fairly decent size amplifier for being 8 years old. And there again, it was 1,005. So when you look at Common Sense Audio and you say, okay, This amplifier is 8 years old. It's 1,000 watts, and it's this big.
Yeah.
And it weighs a ton.
Yeah.
And then you compare it to, like, say, like a Rockford. It's 1,000 watts, and it's this big. And you're like,
yeah.
There's something different going on there. Or even, so it's one of those things where I think, and then you just look at the current draw and you're like, wow, that's a lot of current draw, or just, but people just don't pay attention sometimes. It's like when they say, somebody just said their amplifiers are 98% efficient. So their new super amp, there's new 5K and 4K and 27K amps. They're
basically making
efficient.
power.
And it's like, how in the hell do you do this? And I was having an interesting conversation this past weekend with somebody, and they were talking about, when you're testing. They were laughing because they're like, these guys that are figuring out, dyno guys that are figuring out amplifier efficiency, they're doing it wrong, because the meter, it takes more time for the meter to get the efficiency than the amp dyno is actually running for. So what you end up with is the wrong number to then put in to do your math.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? He goes, oh yeah, those fluke meters aren't as fast as the dyno. So unlike an Audio Precision, where everything is going on at once for $20,000, $300 fluke isn't fast enough to capture the right data. So you end up putting the wrong numbers into your mathematical equation and spit out your efficiency. And that's one of the reasons why, like, Derek gets these really high efficiency numbers.
Yeah.
They're not real.
I wonder how off it is, though.
It's a half a second off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a lot.
But they should publish real efficiency numbers. That's right, because manufacturers have all this insight, but then they don't share it.
Well, and there again, I think it falls into what do you need to know and what do you not need to know.
I think efficiency would be a big one.
Well, okay, so let's talk about it, because there again, this shitheel manufacturer decided that it wanted to publish these efficiency numbers that I'm sure it somehow managed to fake, because there again, efficiency is starting to come up in topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's like dampening factor. Dampening factor is one of these things where it does this. It's like it's in vogue, it's out of vogue. It's in vogue, it's out of vogue. It's in vogue. It's like all of a sudden dampening factor matters, and then it doesn't, and then it does, and then it doesn't, and then it does, and it doesn't. It's like, who gives a shit? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't build an amplifier with adequate dampening factor, may your speakers rest in peace. Rotten hell. Yeah. So, it's signal to noise ratio. Like, there was always that debate. Oh, well, you can't hear the difference between 10 and 1 and 0.0 and point this and dude, go get high. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. We're all doing 60, 80 miles an hour down the freeway with the windows rolled down and the air conditioning pumping going. Yeah. We're going to worry about signal to noise ratio at that moment in time? Probably not. But anyways, there's all these weird things that just kind of...
Yeah. Well, and efficiency only matters to... What are you trying to do? If you're doing a basic system, it's probably not going to be that big to you. If you're doing an extensive, like 1,000 watts on a sub, it's going to play some sort of factor. May not decide what you're going to do.
No.
But if you're doing an SPL system or something that's like pretty aggressive system, 3,000 plus... so it's going to factor in your decision a little bit.
Here's the reality of it as I see it. And that's just how I see it. When we put a system in a car, the one thing we do not want it to do is ever turn off. Unless you're turning the car off. So, Kicker uses the boost power supply on the yellow series amplifiers. And as we've tested, that thing will go down to 9 volts.
Yeah.
It's an 800 watt amp, and at 9 volts, it's still putting out power. Not 800 watts, but it's still putting out power.
Right.
Okay. So I can run that thing into the dirt, as you like to say, and it never shut off.
Yeah.
It just put out power. So when you go, okay, what am I trying to do here? I'm going to worry about efficiency, but if I worry about current draw, then you understand what I'm saying?
There's a trade-off.
It's like, okay, so if I have current draw and I don't have adequate charging, my voltage is going to go down, which means my amperage is going to go up, and there goes efficiency out the window. But if my amplifier stays on, it just regulates itself down and says, no, we're not going to draw any more current. We're just going to decrease the amount of power. To me, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
In a real-world application, for sure. Well, and that's what happened with the Q class. The Q class was meant to, like, it will give you this amount of power
all the time,
no matter how much amperage it has to draw to your system.
Oh yeah, it'll just light up a city if it needs to.
Yeah, you're gonna get this amount of power, which is great, depending on what you're doing.
Which is old school power supply technology, which is what a lot of these old school circuit boards are doing.
Yeah.
So we got to put this power out all the time. Better get those lithiums and light them up.
Right.
You know.
Well, and which sparks another question: have you seen the Diamore over 100% efficient amps?
Yes.
Yeah. So you put capacitors, big capacitors or batteries or whatever is in it, and it's like people are getting really upset, and it's like, well, like
it's genius.
He's like true. What he's saying is he's not lying to you, but he's doing something different.
Yes, and it's genius. It's wonderful. Why would you not? I mean, the reality is we need amplifiers that'll work in low voltage, because we have stop-start vehicles right now that when they start can go down to 8.5 volts. All right. So unless you're going to get in every time, shut that off, and you're going to want to bang the hell out of it. So we need amplifiers that can take low voltage and still put out power and not shut off and not go into protection. And then we also need to look at it like, these batteries in these cars are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So, and it's not like all of a sudden everyone's going to say, well, we're done. We don't want to make our cars sound good anymore. No, we want to do that. So we need to build amplifiers that can work in these new environments. There'll always be the cheaper, bigger, non-efficient, I got this big amp. Because don't get me wrong, I like a big amp too. But, they're not going to play well in the world that is coming.
Right.
So, enjoy it now. That's all I have to say. Enjoy your big, AB class, 120 watts by 4 monster. And, that sounds great. And just enjoy the shit out of it, because in the future, that thing is not going to be in a car. The power's not going to be there.
That this part of the big system doing it yourself, as these older cars start to phase out, and we're on to say, it's whatever, it's 2040, and we're using a 2020 car now.
Right.
Like, we got some problems.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to do a big bass system in a car that has so much technology in it. So it's definitely going to change.
And there again, I feel if you're a big bass guy, which a lot of people are, you're going to buy the right vehicle to be a big bass guy. But it's when you get the guy that wants to be a big bass guy that shows up with like the Porsche.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want 415s in the back of my Porsche. It's like, there's the door.
You got a different car? Like what?
I'm not doing that to this car. Just be gone with you, please. Because it's just nothing but a headache at that point. It's unserviceable. It's not realistic. It's just
creating more problems than what you're
and you're going to be married to it forever. And it's like, I don't want that headache. Screw that shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We have a show. Like, I've got something funny to show you. Something happened inside Jag. Something happened that I've been wondering if it would ever happen. It finally happened.
Oh,
so
cool.
We didn't pick a movie for this week, but I've watched
tons of movies,
a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So you guys go over there. We're gonna talk. The title of that episode is "We've Seen Things. ... Terrible Things."
Oh my gosh. I like the 1993 Buick Regal station wagon.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, I used to make some bitchin' door panels for the Buicks.
Dude, I like Buick Regals.
I could whip those things out. Like, I had patterns, man. 2 6.5s in the bottom of the door. Keep that whole factory top looking. Oh yeah, man, I could whip those out in no time flat.
Aren't you glad you don't have to do that
I'm
stuff
so
anymore?
happy I don't have to do that anymore. Oh, what a pain in the butt, man. It
Yeah.
took me more time to run the wire through the door than it did just to, and then of course you'd need a tetanus shot when you were done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the door always
Especially
go.
now. I seen a meme where they had it's just like a door. I don't even know what it's on, but it's green. It's like this thick. And it's like this door weighs more than your whole car does now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Well,
serious.
I mean, you always see like Scott keeps showing pictures of his car falling apart.
Yes.
And it's like that's
like
the life right there, man. That's race car living.
Yeah.
That's what you have, man. You just
Yeah.
No, don't send
Dean,
me.
I'll send you the panels.
Sorry, I don't have any wood.
Yeah.
No wood. No time.
I mean, it comes with age. I mean, it happens to everybody, Dean. I wouldn't be ashamed of it.
Well, you got what's his name that makes all those vacuum mold panels for the doors?
Custom speaker pods.
Yeah, I talked to him the other day.
Yeah.
Dude, that's genius.
Yeah. Just like I have someone that I work with he's got an old truck and he's wanting something in there, and I think it had 4x10s in the drawers or something. I was thinking the first thing I thought was like, dude, custom speaker pods. Get the one that fits a 6.5-inch component set. Put them dudes on there, and boom, we're solid.
Yeah. So he just keeps making those better and better. So as he starts to make them, he'll get better and better and start because to me the only thing I think that he needs to put more time into is just hiding the screws. Because that's the one thing about him that's just like, can we hide the screws? There's got to be a way to hide the screws.
Yeah.
So
there's got to be
There's got to be a way, because that was always my thing. You could never see any screws. You never see the screws.
Yeah.
So, but whatever.
Yeah.
Screwy wooey.
Well, I think we've done this one. We can.
So what do you have coming up?
I have. So I might not have a video this week. I don't know. I need a little more time. Still in the Elite 8 shootout. You can see I got subwoofers over here. I got subwoofers here. I got subwoofers here. They're everywhere. Can't move without even tripping over a subwoofer. So that's coming up. I'm going to complete that. We have finished one side of the bracket. The CT Sounds has moved on to face the winner of the Prime R2 or the Savard Rap 12.
Okay.
So far, the Rap 12 is winning, which I expected. But let me tell you something. That Prime R2, it was about 2 dB quieter than the Savard, which was shocking to me. That thing it's a 250 watt RMS sub. I'm putting 1,000 watts to it. It got stinky for sure.
Yeah.
But it handled it. It didn't blow up, and it sounded damn good.
Well, that was the idea behind the R series woofers. The R series woofer is made for somebody that is not going to be the best client.
Yeah.
And you're going to sell them a small amplifier. You could sell them the R2, and it'll just play.
I only got half gain, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So like Alpine made that one. It was called the Bass 200. They were just these woofers that just put out bass, and very rarely did they ever blow, as long as you kept them in a within their range.
Right.
But they would take some massive abuse. Like they were made for people that just like, hey, watch this. It's like, wow. It's like they would just play on, man.
Yeah. I was impressed. So I'm not picking the winners, because actually, if I was picking the winner in that recent video, I probably picked the Prime, just because the wow factor for a $99. It's a big name brand sub. It's $99. It's rated 250 watts, and I just think it exceeded everything that it did. Even though, of course, the Rap 12 is going to be louder. The Rap 12 does also sound good.
Yeah.
So I expected, people are going to pick that one because it plays louder and also sounds good. But for me, the Prime it just kind of shocked me in a good way.
Yeah, I've never heard of Savard woofers, so
yeah,
I got nothing.
I mean, they sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Everyone I've messed with, not a problem with them. What you got?
Obviously Porsche video tomorrow. Next week may get the Porsche video. I may just torture people for one more week. We just got done doing a car stereo lab. We put the 430 in there. Holy shit. Like the Moscone, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like this big too.
Oh no, the big Moscone.
Oh, you could get the big one then.
The Pro. Okay. We put the Pro in Fernando's car.
And Moscone ain't no joke. Moscone ain't no joke.
No, the Moscone, not the Sony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Moscone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said Sony. I was like, well, because we have Sony coming up too. So, but we filmed the Moscone last week, so we got to get that up. But Jesus Christ, man, like it like fucking angels. Like, like when you say, well, you really can't. No, Nick wasn't kidding. When we had Nick on, he was talking about how good this amp sounds.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man. I mean, it's just like
I had the AS model, which is like the entry stuff. It's not even the Pro series. There's like 3 levels: the AS, the Pro, and then the A class, which is it's a 0.
Yeah, the 1 or whatever.
Every one of them sounds good.
0. Yeah.
Yeah, the zeros are they're just out of my range. But
dude, this Pro, fuck me, man. Yeah. I kid you not, man. We were just sitting in the car like this.
Yeah. They're legit.
Oh, dude, just so like, you know, and it's funny too because it's like, okay, you know, how much different does it? No, we've literally gone all across the board on this one because it was like we went from the radioactive or the uranium sound digital, sounded great, full bias, cranked that bitch up, sounded wonderful. Then we went to the radioactives and it was like, okay, well, these are definitely not uranium. And then we went from the radioactives to this thing, and it's like, holy
you just keep stepping it up. You're primed for a fall because eventually you're gonna put something. You're gonna step it back down and be like, damn.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely primed for a fall. But oh my god, this amp just sounds so amazing. Like it's like, yeah, I don't want to give this back ever. We'll put this one in as our test amp.
Like, Moscone, would you like to sponsor a segment where we put all Moscone amps in Dean's Mustang?
We won't talk about that. That's a whole nother. All right. Well, that's the end of the shows, guy. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you head over to SideJag. We're going to be talking about something.
Yeah, terrible things. We've seen them.
All right. Well, there you go.